Love it.
from evil. It was our emotions. Psychopaths simply did not seem to have the feelings of empathy that stopped the rest of us from harming. The search had begun. What else could we see if we peered into the brain of the soul?
Where they film that way?
Must be.
In California, neuroscientist Jim Fallon found himself almost by accident picking up the quest. He had specialized in standard clinical disorders. Now he was about to become an expert in the brains of psychopaths.
I spent a lot of my research career looking at different brain abnormalities, mostly schizophrenia, but also depression and addictions of different sorts. And then my colleagues started to do something different.
They asked him to analyze a variety of brain scans. What he didn't know was that some of them were the brain scans of murderers.
They brought me to the scan and said, well, what do you think of it? What do you see?
Production sector 3 has been cleared. Back up to racing speed in sector 3.
There were normal schizophrenia, depression, and there were killers. I didn't know the mix or who, what. It was just like, here it is. About halfway through, I started to notice a pattern. It was fascinating. This one group, no matter what other damage they had or didn't have, they always had damage before the cortex, right above the eyes. The other part of the brain that looked like it was working was this front part of the temporal lobe, which houses the amygdala. And that is where the different animal drives are. This is extraordinary. So I separated out the files and I said, this is a different group. And bingo, when we broke the code, there it was, that group who were the killers. And it was really, one of those aha moments.
The areas that looked abnormal were crucial for controlling impulsivity and emotions. Fallon's images seemed to confirm what Pear's work had suggested. It looked like we were getting closer to the signature brain profile of a serial killer.
This is about as dramatic as a difference can be. And the PET scan is just a mind-blower, really.
The location of these abnormalities indicated to Jim why psychopaths could be driven towards extreme behavior.
Just to get up to the point of being satisfied, to kind of even the makeup, if you will, that whole system. Some of these psychopaths have to be struggling with things. Somebody like them have to fly to Vegas and get drunk and be with a bunch of prostitutes or snort cocaine or kill somebody over and over. Really indicated that there was a biological basis, a really hardcore brain basis, for this urge to kill. And then that brings the other question is that enough to cause somebody to be a psychopath or a killer, or are there other factors? So that aha moment was immediately followed by the question was,
Once it seemed that the brains of psychopaths were different, the next urgent question was why? Back in Vancouver, the direction seemed clear. The path to pursue was genius.
Once we had determined that there are certain differences in brain function and structure, next question is how did they originate, from where did they come? And that brings up the question of genetic factors. All behavior, all physical features have strong genetic contributions.
The search was on. Were there genes that linked to violence? In 1993, the breakthrough came with one family's history. Here, all the men had a background of violence, and all
The car
lacked
ahead is
the
running on the
same.
prime tyre. We have an advantage here.
there's one gene that was missing. And this was in the men, and always been around. What was important was that the loss of one gene profoundly affected behavior. So that kind of supported the idea that one gene really controlled the behavior.
It then emerged that just being born with one variant of this gene could also predispose you to violent behavior.
Let's warm up those brakes.
The
Brake hard and a
NAOA
few comments.
became known as the body.
That was pretty exciting because it implied, first off, that we could identify specific contributing factors to psychopathy, but also because
We think there's a chance of light rain in
suggests that
15
this
minutes
period area of
time.
research is
15
bound to be
minutes.
fruitful.
It seemed that it could be possible to trace the hallmark of evil in people's brains and genes. So did this mean that if you had both elements, you were destined to become a killer? For Gene Fallon, this question was about to become deeply personal. At a regular family party, the casual remark by his mother took him by surprise.
As we were discussing this in different brains, I said to him, you should look into your own history. And I said, did you ever get Lizzie Borden? And I started to tell the story about Lizzie Borden and how she murdered her father. But I said, there's a cousin of yours. He was shocked and, of course, started to delve a little further.
But, you know, I know it's true.
Time
Because
calculation. Tonio should be
Yeah, there were quite a few murders in that family.
at least 16 birds on the one line.
Hearing this, Jim took the bold decision to run a check on the entire family for the genes and brain structure linked to violent psychopathic behavior. The results of the brain scans came back first.
Really, she's normal. That was fantastic. And then I figured one, and it was the last one, as it turns out, and it was very abnormal. And this particular PET scan had no orbital cortex activity. It had no temporal lobe activity. This whole sort of limbic system was not functioning. And I said, oh, wow, this is one of these killers. It's the exact same pattern as a killer. But when I looked down the code, it was not one of the killers. It was me. It was really a shock. It was a shock, but I tried to think, it was like, that's really interesting. I'm not in jail, but I haven't killed anybody, I haven't done any of that stuff. So at least I don't have the genes, I don't have that, I just had the brain pattern. I said, okay.
He then did the gene tests, looking not only for the warrior gene, but for other traits, like impulsivity, that make up the profile of a psychopath. That came the results.
Again, everybody had a mix of things in the family. It looked like an average sort of mix of these different genes that would have the aggression, all sorts of behaviors. Except now, again, there was this one that showed all of these high-risk genes. And it was mine. It was like, what are the odds of getting this? The throw the dice. What is that? It come out 6-6, 6-6, 6-6. No, it's millions to one.
Now Jim started asking himself some unsettling questions.
This, really became probably more serious in my mind. Because it's like, who am I? People with far less dangerous genetics become killers and are psychopaths than what I have. I have like those all of them.
But the reaction from his family was to unsettle him even further.
I knew there was really something off. It makes more sense now that it's clear that he does have the brain and genetics of a psychopath, and it all falls into place, as it were. He's got a hot head. Everything that you want in spirit he has in a fundamental way, because
surprising, but it wasn't surprising, because he really is, and he is two different people. Even though he's been always very funny and gregarious and everything else, he's always had this standoffish part to him. And that's always been there. That's always been there.
Having heard what his family thought, Jim felt forced to be honest with himself.
I have characteristics or traits, some of which are that are psychopathic.
Weather report suggests
I
light
could
rain
blow up in
within
this
10
funeral
minutes.
if I thought it was a party that day. I would just take off. And that's not right. The thing is, I know that now, but I still don't care. And so I know something's wrong, but I still don't care. And you know, it's hard. I don't know how else to put that. It's just you're in a position where, oh, that's not right.
Antonio is due to
It's
stop within the next 5 laps.
that's true.
But Jim still had a puzzle to solve. If he had the brain and the genes of a killer, why wasn't he one? The answer is that whether genes are triggered or not will depend on what happens in your childhood. Simply having the warrior gene doesn't necessarily mean you do that.
You have to put a high risk when you were abused early on in life, the chances of spending your life are much higher. If you had a gene, a high risk gene, but you weren't abused, then there really wasn't much risk. So just the gene by itself, doesn't really dramatically affect behavior, but under certain environmental
Need you to
conditions,
get some heat
big
into the brakes.
difference.
Brake
That was
forward for the next
a
couple of
very
laps.
profound finding.
So what was it about Jim's environment that cancelled out his unlucky genes?
We think the car behind is running on 4 revs. He's trying
It
to close
turns
the
out that I
gap.
had an unbelievably wonderful childhood. Then I could go back and look at old movies and old, pictures of smiling and just happy as a lark, and I see kind of all the way through my life. There's a good chance that that's offset. All the genetic factors, brain development, and everything. And it washed that away.
It seems your genes can increase your chances of being a violent psychopath, though it's your environment that shapes whether you ever be one. But understanding the world of the psychopath is now leading scientists beyond the world of prison walls. Scientists could be
Car
looking
ahead
for
is running on the
psychopaths
prime tyre. We have an
in place
advantage here.
in When you walk in the city, you're not thinking of psychopaths, and yet the chances of passing them are higher than you think. Psychopaths have been adopting a camouflage, taking even the experts by surprise.
I met my first psychopath a little over 25 years ago. And it wasn't someone in prison. It was someone who was working for a company where I was a consultant.
We've got a chance of taking another place here. Big three,
When
big
I
three.
talked to people about it, half thought that he was a wonderful leader. The other half of the team members felt quite the opposite. They thought he
Win
was
that
the
place
devil
back. Come on,
incarnate.
you can get him.
I was somewhat puzzled by this, and I remember I called Bob Hare. And at the end of the conversation, I'll never forget it. He said, "Yup, you got one."
When Paul called me and described the characteristics of people he was dealing with, the concept of psychopathy really came forward.
Paul applied Bob's psychopathy checklist and found this leader fitted the profile. His high status hidden the truth.
Psychopaths really aren't the kind of person you think they are. In fact, you could be living with one, married to one, for 20 years or more, and not know that that person is a psychopath. In more modern times, we've identified individuals who we might label a successful psychopath.
Who do you think of when you hear the term psychopath? Most likely it's Hannibal Lecter
You
or
need to
some
find
other
some
serial
speed. The car
killer.
behind is
But
closing
the
in.
actual behaviors that they engage in will depend upon the context It depends upon how great you are. What do you look like? What kind of upbringing did you have?
Being a psychopath doesn't mean you can't get a job.
Part of the problem is that the very things we're looking for in our leaders, the psychopath can easily mimic.
We're ready for you at the end of this
Their
lap.
natural tendency is to be charming. Take that charm and couch it in the right business language, it sounds like charismatic leadership.
You get to think of psychopaths as having at their disposal a very, very large repertoire of behaviors. So they can use charm, manipulation, intimidation, whatever is required.
Psychopaths can also turn their lack of emotion to their advantage.
A psychopath can actually put themselves inside your skin intellectually, emotionally. You can tell what you're thinking in a sense, you can look at your body language, they're listening to what you're saying. But what they don't really do is feel what you feel. What this allows them to do is to use the words to manipulate and calm and to interact with you without the baggage of having this, I really feel your pain.
Paul then constructed his own survey to see how many psychopaths had infiltrated big business. The answer? Almost 4 times as many as in the general population.
These were all individuals who were at the top of an organization, vice presidents, directors, CEOs. So it was actually quite a shock.
But the biggest surprise was when they looked at their actual performance.
The higher the psychopathy, the better they look. These were people who walked into the room and they got excited and walked in the room with a charisma, lots of charisma. And they talk a good line. But if you look at their actual performance and ratings as a team player and productivity and so forth, just look good, perform badly. And that was really quite a dramatic finding.
Their ability to communicate, to charm, to manipulate those around them, overshadow the hard data.
Paul thinks this is just the beginning. Corporate culture today seems ideal for the psychopath.
Thrill seekers, they are easily bored. What better place to work than a place that's constantly changing? That's the perfect environment for a psychopath. So how do you tell a high-power, high-talent MBA student from the lying, cheating, deceitful, manipulative psychopath? Very, very hard to do.
Remember to pit this lap.
So the blend of genes and environment determine not only who will be a psychopath, but whether they end up in a boardroom or behind bars. Now this new science is about to challenge us all. It's about to make us question not only our ideas of good and evil, but even crime and punishment itself.
I was asking him please, and I was begging him to stop. He wouldn't stop.
In 2006, a brutal murder took place that rocked the state of Tennessee.
It was a horrible crime. And everybody knows that Mr. Walbrook had committed a murder. He attempted to murder his wife, and he did murder the friend of his wife. And it was done in a very violent way. At one point he had a machete, he ran after her, he cut her. So it was a pretty grisly scenario. This was the kind of crime where there was really no question who did it. I did was the person. Okay, go on.
In the state of Tennessee, that meant Bradley Walker was facing the death penalty.
Don't forget, pit in this lap.
But in this case, the man who could save Walker was not a lawyer, but a forensic psychiatrist. The fundamental question of the heart of Walker's defense. he may have done it. Was he to blame?
I think in the opening statements, the defense attorney said that. You know, we're not disputing who did this crime, but what we would like to talk about is why it happened.
Dr. Burnett agreed to gather the evidence.
I first saw Mr. Walter. We arranged the evaluation here at Vanderbilt,
Reported the car
and I
there.
met him after back in his room. The sheriff sits on the other side of the window. But Mr. Walter himself was a middle-aged man.
Sea line radar on track. It's starting to rain.
Talkative, he's cooperative. In other words, this is a normal-looking man who's conversant and fairly articulate, but who has a story. And in his case, I think the story was very important.
Walcott's actions suggested a brutally destructive personality.
My initial impression was that this was an unusually violent act. This was a murder case, and it was also a capital case, meaning that the state of Tennessee was seeking the death penalty.
The evaluation was going to include a new and controversial element. Did Bradley Walcott have the warrant?
After a week or so, we got the result back. And it was, I guess what one would call a positive result in the sense that he had the low activity version of the NAOA gene.
But this gene would only be relevant to his defense if he'd also had an extremely difficult early environment.
So the question is, does he have a history for probably